With Loctite in your fanny pack, you can help a lot. Loctite.
Nothing will ever sound the same without a Turtle Beach headset. Hear everything. Defeat everyone.
Hello everyone and welcome to HVMP's live coverage of the Loctite Retro Series at Solstice Racing. Today we're bringing you the Firecracker 400K, getting set to go 100 laps around Daytona, this 2.5 mile facility. I'm Dylan Livigan alongside Brandon Lambert. Now Brandon, you've been involved in a lot of these super speedway races, especially here at Daytona. What can we expect to see?
We expect to see a lot, actually. We got a lot of top contenders in this series, and a lot of these faces and cars you'll know. Daytona's biggest race of the season, of course, and it's good to see these retro cars back out here after a few seasons off. And but no, I look to see really good racing. There's a lot of good contenders, and the racetrack is proving its history. I'm ready for this big time.
And you see this giant field of cars in front of you. All these drivers trying to add their name to the prestigious list of past champions in this series. This is our 7th go-around at a retro series here at Solstice. Your past champions include Sean Taylor, Josh Chin, Caleb Paul, Dave Krikorian, Adam Kodal, and Jordan Robson. So definitely a very prestigious event. These guys we're really excited to get this series back going and to start the season off here at Daytona. Just like every other Solstice, retro series event. And you'll see the retro paint scheme sported by a lot of these guys. It's cool. It's something different. It's not what a lot of leagues do. So it should be really exciting here. We're at Daytona, 2.5 miles around this place. That's going to add up to 400 kilometers. As we are not going green. This is just a pit party as we see a terrible crash in front of the field. And that's our big one. That's going to tear up a lot of good cars. Wow, that's probably the biggest wreck I've seen in a happy hour event. Tough break for those guys. But some more things about this racetrack. I know I was talking to Matthew Emerson before the race. He was not very happy at race control here, and the organizers. He said that the bottom lane was really loose and the high line was really loose. Now Chad Michaels also was having some issues in keeping his car straight on the high line. Big lack of grip, same surface on the bottom and the top. So watch for that. Middle lane is dominant according to Ryan Williams. I talked to him before the race as well. And draft's going to play an important role today. Chad Mico is saying that the draft is, you know, a big key to plate racing, obviously. Chad's won, I don't know if you could even tell me, Brandon, how many races Chad's won at Daytona. It's just an astronomical amount. And he's saying that, you know, this draft is huge. You can get big suck-ups, big runs on people. We saw that in the Busch Clash, which unfortunately was not able to be broadcasted by us, but we apologize for that. But nonetheless, we are here again, a little bit different configuration, a little bit different setup from the Busch Clash, trying to bring in the middle line a little bit more, trying to not make it high line dominant or low line dominant, just trying to get a couple of good lanes in the middle. Now, Lambert, you are a veteran in this series and at this racetrack. What do you think would be your strategy? I know you're in talks with Chad Mico's this race. You know, what might you be saying to your driver for this race as far as strategy goes?
Strategy, there's not really a whole buttload of strategy in the Super Speedway. Cars are very equal here. There's not a whole lot of difference to aero package or anything like that. Strategy kind of goes out the window here. With this older surface that we're running here, tires may be an issue. So you're going to see a lot of 4-tire stops tonight, not a whole lot of 2-tire stops. But no strategy. There's really no strategy here. It's pray and hope you don't get in a wreck, and pray and hope you're up in the top 5, top 6, top 7 towards the end, so you have a chance at winning this race. You just gotta put yourself there. Find a line that works, whether it's high, whether it's low, whether it's making it 3 wide in the middle. But you just gotta find that line and get yourself moved up there, and just to make yourself have a shot there at the end.
And it's definitely all about that. You're gonna see, I mean, every lap count here at the Super Speedway. No one can win it before the last lap, that's for sure. Super Speedway racing, always unpredictable, always draft dependent. Everyone's right there at the finish, and we're glad to bring you coverage of it, flag to flag, from start to finish. As happy hour looks like it's coming to a close here. A couple of drivers getting last couple of shakedowns on their machines before they compete in today's race. Like I said, today's race will be 100 laps. So long as we don't have any green white checkers, which I believe we can have green white checkers in this series. Is that correct, Lambert?
Yeah, I will be doing green white checkers in this series. It might be a retro series, but there's a few modern rules applied to it here.
And like we said, this is the 7th series, the 7th time here at Daytona. Let's wait for a couple more cars to get on track here, and we'll go through your starting lineup.
While we're waiting everybody to grid here, if you were talking about the high line and low line being a little loose, in the clash, I was a part of that one. Of course, I got wrecked coming out turn 4 before even 10 laps left to go. But in my short 20-lap period of time, I realized that the low line was really loose, especially getting into the corner. Now Goodyear's brought a new tire to this race compared to the Clash, so there's a little more grip, and maybe we can see that low line actually work tonight.
Yeah, watch for that for sure. I know the low line in the Clash, as we're getting the command to start the engines here at Daytona. I know the bottom line was loose. It bit a couple of drivers. Chris Wett's a veteran driver in this series, likes to drive a loose race car. Too loose for him on the bottom in the Clash. Hopefully they've sorted that as our drivers roll out of the pits here. Let's go through our starting lineup here. On the pole, that's going to be Adam Kodal in the number 80 machine, followed by the 77 of Josh Stubbs. Third place is Kevin Dwight, and to the outside of him is the 79 of Brandon LaRoe. On the inside of row number 3 is the 21 of Jake Poulin in that unsponsored Monte Carlo. On the outside of him is the 51 of Justin Malillo in the Radio Shack machine. Inside of row number 4 is the number 3 of Steve Rada. And outside of him will be the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton in that Xerox machine. Next on the grid will be the 05 of Daniel Thomas, followed by the 35 of Nick Cars. In the next row will be the 75 of Josh Klein and the 27 of Tristan Hagenstein. Doug DeNice on the outside of row number 8. On the inside of him is Mark Sabetka. Jordan Highland. Oh, no, excuse me, Paul Foddy in the 8 as Jordan Highland is unable to make it. On the outside of him is Brian Mercurio, Chad Mikos, Matt Conti, and the rest round out your field as there's a little bit of an issue here, folks, trying to get started. Cars, we're expected to go green here, but we've got cars wrecking in 3 and 4. Not sure what that's about. We still have cars.
That I have no clue. I have no idea what just happened there. Looks like we're gonna get a. Yeah, we're gonna refield this.
Yeah, as that's signified by everyone just killing each other here on the start, coming to the restart. So go ahead and enjoy the crash and the carnage while you can, because hopefully we don't see too much of that during the race. There's a bunch of really sharp-looking schemes in the field today. A lot of really good retro cars. I mean, I'm not much of a painter myself. It's more broadcasting and video making for me. But I mean, even I can appreciate the time and effort put into a lot of these schemes.
Yeah, it's good to see a bunch of retro schemes. We got a lot of these schemes are recreations of real cars from the 80s, and some of these cars are custom made by the painters here at Solstice. So it's really cool to see retro schemed cars again.
A lot of these drivers are sporting their colors after a couple of their role models and people they look up to. I know Ryan Williams, very special scheme on the 28 there. He's a big Havoline fan, big Davey Allison fan, big Ricky Rudd fan. I mean, anyone who's driven a Havoline car, you know, he's definitely a fan of them, and it's cool to see people like him do their own replications of the schemes. Another one worth mentioning is the 3 of Steve Rada. Steve Rada, big Earnhardt fan, Earnhardt Sr. that is. And a little bit of a throwback as we cycle through the cameras here. Show you all the shots available for today's race. A couple of them are a little useless. We apologize for that. As looks like everyone's going to try to get sorted out here, hoping for a much cleaner start to this pace lap as they roll down the back straightaway. And I suppose we can go through the rest of the running order so long as my mouse works. A little bit of technical difficulties. We apologize. Oh, yes.
Yeah, a lot of these cars are starting in the back on purpose. Usually don't see that a whole lot, but at super speedways, I guess some people just like to start at the back to stay there until the end of the race, just to keep themselves out of trouble. And I got balls 250. We saw Ryan Williams, you know, he started in the back and slowly made his way up to the front. Of course, a lot of wrecks happened and helped him in that, but look like he's going to try to do the same thing here. It looks like.
And you know, a lot of different strategies being played by a lot of the drivers here. Matthew Emerson was one who wanted to stay up front, but I believe he's starting near the back of the field, so he's going to have to make his way. But we're making our way towards the end of the Solstice Retro Series Championship. We're getting ready to cap it off here at Daytona. Green flag in the air. Adam Kodal off to a great start. Stubbs on the outside of him as the two lines work their way into corner number 1. Adam Codal with a slight advantage over the high side now. He's going to set his sights on staying out front as the 2 of Kevin Dwight pulls right in behind him. Big suck up in the draft as Dwight and Poulin are going to work their way to the outside of the 80 car.
There was a very nice move by Dwight and Jake Poulin. They looks like they had a good run and decided to use it. And looks like that 2 is going to take he may take the lead here on lap 1.
And I believe there's communications between the 2 as Adam actually leads that lap with a little bit of a push from Steve Rada. I believe the 2 and the 21 are communicating with each other. That's why that move was so synchronized towards the front. A lot of these drivers aren't, however. I'm sure the 80 and the 3 are not, as they are on 2 different teams. I believe the 80 is on Solstice Racing or whatever Caleb's team is this season. And obviously Steve Rada, part of the Big Evil stable, and H&H, as they work their way down the front straightaway here towards the tri-oval to complete lap number 2 and begin lap number 3.
Looking like that low line's holding its ground pretty good right now. All the cars are not tucked up underneath each other. They're actually giving us a lot of room about 10th on back, which is really good to see early on in the race. We don't want to see a lot of carnage here early.
Yeah, and that high line really is holding its own. You see it holding its own in the front of the pack here as we work our way towards the back of the pack. Here we see Chris Wetz making a little bit of room, or making a little bit of ground up on the bottom groove, but a lot of drivers electing to stay up top. You see Tristan Hagenstein there, the 40 of Doug Denias, 25 of Chad Mikos. Look for Chad and Emerson maybe to work together and try to get their way to the front. Sharp-looking Taco Bell scheme on the 25, by the way.
That is a very, very nice-looking scheme. Nice and brown, and it looks like definitely a Taco Bell sign from the early 90s, late 80s. So that's very nice.
Back to the front now. Adam Codal continues to lead. It's a 3-car tandem between the 83 and 77 of Adam Codal, Steve Rada, and Josh Stubbs, respectively. Looks like Josh Chin has worked his way up from mid-pack into the 4th position. He's going to take the outside on the 77 of Stubbs, try to make some ground with push from what's his name? Justin Melillo. Justin Melillo in the 51, and the rest are behind him. Adam up to the high side. That's not where there's a lot of grip.
Help up there. He's all by himself. He's dropping in the back here really quickly.
3rd lane looks like he's going to drop straight to the back. He's going to sink like a rock. We call that getting hung out to dry here on super speedways. And there you watch him go all the way to the back. Not much grip there on the high side, so you can see he's trying to keep it down as much as he can, but he's going to lose a bunch of positions. And he's going to try to drop down in front of or behind the 41, and he does. That's Keith Sherman right behind him in the 15. Keith Sherman making a big move in the offseason from Florida to, I believe it was Virginia or Kentucky or one of those states farther north.
He moved to South Carolina.
Ah, South Carolina. So, in a new house, we congratulate the number 15 on his move, on moving up in the ranks. As moving up in the ranks is the 93 of Josh Chin. We're going to see him go low on the 51 of Justin Melillo. Hugging that dashed white line there on the bottom. Clipping just a little bit of apron. Not sure if that's to keep his car turning right or if he's just getting a big push from Steve Rada there. Steve Rada likes to lay on the back bumper of the guy in front of him, not let off. Good person to work with on super speedways is Steve Rada.
No, most def. Anybody that's not scared to give somebody a bump, especially down the straightaways, and stay tucked up right underneath them in the corner, that's a good super speedway racer. And he's shown his strength pretty early here. He's helping that Josh Chin, that number 93 car, helping him stay up front right now. Speaking of Josh Chin, Mr. Where did he come from? I don't know where he started in this field, but it reminds me of Kevin Harvick here. Just don't know where the crap he came from.
And speaking of pushing the crap out of each other, we're on board right now with Kevin Dwight. That's his roof cam. Just laying on Justin Malillo, trying to gain the lead back from Josh Chin. Josh Chin started way in the back of today's race and somehow has found his way up into the #1 spot here.
Looks like he's going to get put in the middle 3 wide here. Looks like Rada was tired of pushing him. Rada's got help from the 77 of Stubbs. Let's see what he can do pushing that Chevy machine all the way to the front.
On the bottom, that's Steve Rada in the #3 machine. He's doing it for Dale. Coming down the front straightaway here, trying to lead lap #9. Can he do it? At the line, it looks like... Not sure if he did.
Wow.
Justin Malillo credited for that lap. So Steve Rada will not lead that lap. As we see the #2 of Kevin Dwight ducking out for a little bit of air, making sure his machine does not get too hot. Weather today, a chilly -0 degrees, or -10, something like that. It's really cold, so not much worry about these engines heating up too much. I know it's a little bit ironic for Daytona, but you know how spring is in Florida. It can be cold.
Just a little bit.
As we see Steve Rada get his lap that he was after for, he leads lap #10 of 100. As our lap, I guess we have too many laps to go, as we can't really see how many laps we're running total, but just remember that it is 100 laps. As we see Josh Chin make a heroic move from the middle down to the bottom. Stubbs pushed up to the high side by Steve Rada. Looks like he's going to try to not get sucked up in the sucker hole there, but that's going to bunch everyone up behind him. 3 wide back in the, about the 5th position there. That gets sorted out. Hairy moment there. Whenever you go 3 wide, especially at Daytona, you know, really tight quarters and corners here on the super speedway. A lot narrower than Talladega or any of the other super speedways we have on the schedule. So good to see everyone getting out of that situation, getting back to a little bit of vanilla 2 wide racing.
It looks like that #3 of Rada is pretty daggum strong. He's able to keep the lead up in the top line, but it doesn't look like for long as Josh Chin is getting pushed by the #75 of, I forget his name, Klein, and he's a pretty newcomer to Solstice. We're seeing a lot of new faces here at Solstice. Pretty much almost at least 2 or 3 new faces once a month, which is really good to see. This Inter 2003 is dying off just a little bit, but as it dies off and some of these other leagues kind of die off, you see more and more newcomers to the Solstice series. And tonight we got a 30-car field, and you're not going to see that all season long, but it's really good to see at the beginning of seasons at least.
Now, if you're watching this just sitting on your bum, I mean, look at that amazing, just beautiful field coming off of corner #2. You can get in on this action if you go and type in your web browser solsticeracing.net and sign up there and sign up for the series. This could be you running in the Retro Series. Retro Series is not a beginner series. That will be tomorrow night, which is not broadcasted, unfortunately. But tomorrow night is the Dash Series. That's the rookie series. That's where maybe if you're a little bit new, or the veteran field of Solstice Racing is a little bit intimidating. It's a good place to gain experience, get comfortable with racing over here, and get comfortable with the people you will be competing with in Proline, as there's a lot of ringers. I know you are one of those. As we have a huge crash. 3-4 cars involved. Upside down, blowing over. That's the 93 of Josh Chin. We got bigger issues. Steve Rada getting spun around.
85 was on his roof. He is barrel rolling. It looks like he's done now. Doesn't look like too much damage, but looks like the 51's got a flat right front tire.
Tough break for Justin Malillo here. You see him pictured in the center of your screen. A lot of drivers with with blown tires. Who has that back in the field in the orange car? That is the 67 of Andrew Schwartz. They're suffering a flat tire, limping back around to the pits. Now we had the air get under a good 3 or 4 cars here. Let's take a look at what happened. Get you an instant replay. As instant as we'd like.
Yeah, with these old cars, they don't have roof flaps of the newer cars, so when they get backwards, there's not much slowing them down from going over. Luckily, nobody really did a blowover of any sort, but we did see a lot of the back ends of cars lift up off the ground, which is always a scary sight.
Now it looks like it was the 77 of Josh Stubbs that got into the outside wall, and after making contact with the outside wall, came back into traffic. Tough break for him. We'll get you his onboard. As he was right on the back end of Steve Rada, looks like he got a little nudge from Steve Rada, and around he went. There you see Wild Ride on the 77 machine. Wild Ride for Steve Rada as he was nearly perpendicular to the racetrack. Something you never want to do here at Daytona, that's for sure.
Oh, no, you never want to see the field coming at you. That's always a scary sight. A lot of big contenders in that wreck. Steve Rada, and it looks like Josh Chin and Kyle Riley. It's a shame. Hopefully they can get those cars repaired and get them back out and running.
And there you see the Wild Ride from Josh Chin, just taken by surprise. Nothing that he could do. Just along for the ride here in this wreck. And again, that wreck was on lap 14 of
100.
Of 100, yes. As there you see Josh Chin getting service to his machine, his Exxon Mobil motor oil machine, that baby blue and white. Getting a little
Looks
scuffed
like we got a
up.
little bit of trouble on pit road. The 40 does. I don't think the 40 knows where he's going. He was stopped right beside the number 8 of Paul Flood, and pit road mishaps here.
Yeah, these guys are definitely going pretty fast up and down pit road, and not sure he might have just not known where his pit stall was. There you see Mark Sabetka in the 22. Said Seb pit here. That's the way to do it if you want to pit in the right pit stall, I suppose.
Yeah. Going back to the wreck, it's looked like the 77 just got a little bit of what we like to call net code. Is where you hit the back end of somebody and you're not completely squared up, and something happens in the sim where it just decides to throw you to the outside wall. And well, that was the case. No driver fault, no driver error, just a part of this racing sim that sometimes does it.
Yeah, definitely. Something that's not wanted at super speedways. I think the cars are just a little bit bigger than the collision model, so that's why you see bumpers go into each other from time to time, and it's hard to know where you're at when that happens. You might think that, oh, you're not going to make contact with the car in front of you, and you end up doing it and setting off a multi-car wreck, as we just saw. Keith Sherman having a little bit of issue there, getting in his pit stall. He can do it. There he goes. The left sides go up on his machine. There you see Andrew Schwartz also on pit road. Dan McKay leaving his pit stall. 71 of Chris Wetz in that Team Lotus 71 machine. Probably one of the ugliest cars in the circuit.
It's not ugly, it's nostalgic.
A little issue leaving his pit box is the 8 car of Paul Fodd. Paul Fodd in the 8 car for Jordan Hyland this race. But back up
Paul
front.
Flood, we don't speak a whole lot about him, but he's kind of a dark horse in this series and at any Solstice race. I think he got his first win at Talladega in the Pro Line. It was Dash. I'm sorry, at Talladega last season. He's a good all-around racer, and he's new to the H&H crew. But I think he also got his first. Who won the Dash Series championship last?
That would be Paul Foddy in the 81.
I thought he got his first championship there.
Paul Fodd with quite a bit of talent.
Yeah, he's got a lot of talent. He's definitely a future pro line champion if he continues this level of driving that he does. He's one of those dark horses. You just don't see that often, but yeah, he can win a championship and win a Talladega race. So you can't count him out.
Yeah, for sure. Paul Fodd, definitely a fan favorite here at Solstice. A lot of the guys I see cheering for him in the broadcast chat. And if you guys have a favorite driver you guys would like to cheer on or give a shout out to, go ahead and drop it in chat and let us know who you're cheering for. As I'm not able to see it, but I know Brandon Lambert is. And so anyways, we are working caution number 1 here on lap 17. Again, I'm very... it was a pretty mellow multi-car wreck. A lot of cars getting airborne. Not a whole lot of cars making significant contact. Oh, was there significant contact? 77 goes around. A little bit of a mishap. Under pacing with the 2 and the 77. I'm not sure if that was a miscommunication or if that was a little case of boys have at it. Matthew Emerson getting involved in that scuffle.
Look, I don't know what that was. It looked like it was just a little stupidity by the 2 there, to be honest with you.
A little bit of pacing shenanigans happens from time to time in these series. I believe we're going green this time, if not green next time. We'll wait to see.
Yeah, looks like the 2 just wasn't paying attention. It's got in the back of the 77 there. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but hopefully these guys can pay a little more attention on their pacing.
And Lambert, we're back green here.
Miles an hour.
Green flag in the air. Jesse Klein leading him down, followed by the 86 of Timmy Pacioli and the 3 of Steve Rada. Steve, definitely a strong contender that last green flag run. Trying to do the same here on that bottom line, but it's 2 cars against 4. There you see the 86 of Timmy Pacioli drop low on the 75. 93 goes with him, cuts off the 3. Now on the high side, that's the 75 and the 15. 15 looking to suck up with the 75, as now it's 5 cars on the bottom to 3 on top. 1 in the sucker hole, that's the 35 of Nick Cars, and leading that lap will be the 86 of Timmy Pacioli.
I don't see him leading long. He's got the 93 of Josh Chen right underneath his bumper, and following him, Steve Rada. Looks like he's going to get shoved up high, and 93 is going to take the lead here.
As you couldn't have predicted that one any better, Brandon, as we see the 93 work the inside of the 86. Nick Cars in the draft behind the 86 now. So out front.
Third position, we got Matt Emerson in that Coors number 29 machine. Looks like he got a good pit stop and was able to get out of pits really fast and get up there to the front. He's also a contender here as we see Sherman pull out. I don't know what the pull out there right there was for.
As looks like he's going to end up losing a couple positions with that. Looks like the 51 of Justin Malillo for a second was going to go to the outside to help him. As you see the front snake of cars snake its way through turns 1 and 2 onto the backstretch now. That's the 3 of Steve Rada looking on the outside with the 29 of Matthew Emerson. I talked to Emerson before today's race. He said he wanted to keep that Coors machine up in the top 5 all race, and he's doing that right now as he's in the 3rd position, pushing Steve Rada for the lead.
And coming over admin chat right now, I can hear the admin chat as well as the BR chat. Emerson is looking to get a lap led early here, so that's why you see him moving out and pushing Rada. Once he gets clear of that 93, he'll drop down and try to lead a lap here.
That's going to be a tall order for the 29 machine of Matthew Emerson, as he's got the 93 and the 86 both hooked up together, and now the 50, 75, and 15 all fill in on the bottom line. So unless the top line can get a couple more cars, I mean, there's a bunch of cars up on top, but still struggling just a little bit to get around. That's Tristan Hagenstein in the 27 and Jake Fisher in the 84. I believe those are teammates working together. So Emerson trying to do everything that he can to get clear of the 93, and he does, but the 3 goes down to block. That's going to open up the...
That was a very interesting move there by Rita. He doesn't like to be behind anybody, just like good old Earnhardt that he's supporting tonight. Just likes to stay up there up to the front and lead the whole thing, try to get himself a win.
And he's doing a pretty good job of it. Justin Molo to the high side. That's the 29 and the 93 to the high side. And they're going to leave Steve Rada out to dry. Next car in line on the bottom is the 86 and the 84. Going to try to pick up Rada, but it looks like the 29 has finally made his way up to the front. So put the 29 to P1, and if he can cross the line this lap, and he will lead lap number 22 of 100 here in Daytona.
We're seeing some pretty interesting moves here early on. Usually you'll see these kind of moves towards the end of the race trying to go for a win, but we're seeing a lot of this early in the race. And people pushing this hard, there's going to be a big one. Just don't know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. When they keep racing like this, there's going to be a big one.
And as you say that, a gutsy move by the 93 to the bottom side to try to pick himself up to the top spot. So it's going to be the 29 and the 93 drag racing down the front straightaway to lead this lap at the line. Coming down, it's going to be the 93 leading this lap. So 93 trying to figure out his way to get to the front early and get into the lead and into that number 1 spot. And it looks like he did a good job of it there.
Yeah, he's doing a very good job staying right there on the bottom. He's got a couple cars helping him on the bottom, but we see that high line. It's got more cars, and with this tire and setup package, it looks like the high line's supposed to be the dominant line, or right there in that middle line. But it looks like the low line's doing a pretty daggum good job of sticking right to him right now.
And you know, Brandon, I think it's all dependent on who is in the high line and the bottom line, as we see the high line kind of die every once in a while and the bottom line fill up with a little bit more cars, and then we see the high line just absolutely fill up and go. It's almost amazing to see if you can get a good 5 or 6 cars up on the high side and out of the way of the bottom line. You know, it's just as good, if not better, than the bottom line, as I know a lot of drivers were talking about a lack of grip on the bottom as we go 3 wide for the lead. That's Steve Rada in the sucker hole in the middle, but it's going to be the 86 and Timmy Pacioli squeezing his way out in front just a little bit with help from the 84, Jake Fisher. On the bottom, it's the 93 and the 75 with the 3 stuck in the middle here.
Oh, this is a little scary going 3 wide right now. We're going to see a lot of 3 wide later on towards the end of the race. 3 wide right now is a little nuts, but 86 definitely wants to lead, and he got a lot of help from that 62 of Kyle Riley right there.
I'm sure the 3 car of Steve Rada is not happy with that move. Unfortunately, getting shuffled back all the way to about 5th in line, on the bottom, as we see Keith Sherman move from the bottom side to the top side. So put your leader as the 86 of Timmy Pacioli. That's Justin Molo on the inside in that beautiful red and black Radio Shack machine, trying to get a little bit of help from the 93 of Josh Shin and the 75. Try to get his way back up in front of the 86, but as I said earlier, look, there's a good 5 or 6 cars up on the high side. As long as that doesn't die, that high side's going to take charge and it's going to be able to hold its own. But now we see it start to die, and we start to see the 51 reel in the 86 just a little bit. Oh, trouble! 2 cars around, 4 cars upside down.
The 15 gets collected.
That's the 80 upside down. That's the 50 of Dudley Smith, tumbling end over end. And a lot of cars coming to a standstill here on the backstretch.
That was a bit of carnage there.
Looks like the 80s day is done. And a replay we will get. Don't you worry about that, but tough break there for the 80 as took a tough lick in that wreck. We'll get you situated here with a replay, as that was towards the front of the field. We saw contact being made. I believe it started with the 75 and the 80. As here we go, we just saw, looks like a bad bump from the 3 of Steve Rada. And, oh, end over end goes the 15. And, oh, what a terrible netcode incident there with the 84. That was a wild ride for sure. And I've never seen a car quite flip like that here at Daytona.
Well, I thought if they kept racing like this, there would be a pretty big wreck, and we've had it earlier, just on lap 27, which is not a good thing. You're taking a lot of contenders on here early on, just people not being patient, and it shows right there big time.
Yeah, I think Steve Rada didn't anticipate that checkup that happened on the bottom line. We saw the 93 of Josh Shun just kind of stop all of his momentum, and the 75 followed suit, and I don't think the 3 was able to see through the 75's car to the 93. And I don't think he knew that that bottom line was slowing down, and I mean, we saw it there on the onboard. We'll get you another replay of that angle, as that pretty much tells the tale.
We can get an onboard of Jeffrey Stanton. He had a bird's eye view of this one, and made his way through without any damage.
There's the onboard of the 3 of Steve Rada, showing you what happened in that wreck. And we'll get you an angle from the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton. Jeffrey Stanton doing a good job of making his way through that carnage.
Yeah, he did a very good job of just slowing down, watching his mirror, make sure nobody's coming to run up in the backup. Slowed down just enough, got through the wreck, and back on his way.
The one car we did not mention was the 15 of Keith Sherman, going for a wild ride there. And looks like everything A-OK.
This looks like the 75 of Klein took a nice ride. He flipped and barrel rolled a few times there.
There we see the 35 getting repairs to his machine, jacking up the right side of the car. Brian Mercurio, we saw him around in the corner. There we go, Keith Sherman on your screen now. Not much damage to that machine. And I believe the 75's day is going to be done, as he's taking it back to the garage.
Yeah, I think his day's done. He flipped and rolled a few times there.
So that was our second wreck, and as we're under caution here on lap 29 of 100, cars making their way back down to get a couple more repairs. I have to excuse myself. I've had 2 cups of coffee before this race. I need to use the little girls' room. Lambert, take it away.
Alrighty. Good bit of cars taken out in that wreck there. Looks like the 15 was okay after almost flipping over there. He's going to be back out there in contention. They fixed the 50 as much as they could. He's probably going to be a little slow and off the draft, but looks like he'll be okay. We got a few cars coming down pit road. Looks like everybody's going to top off fuel, get new tires. So we'll see who gets off pit road first here. As we can see, some of these cars coming down the pit road just now, getting in their pit stall. Pit speed here is 70 miles an hour, a lot faster than your normal NASCAR races. So getting in your pit stall is a little more hectic here.
As I got into my stall pretty hectically, but everything came out clean, and I did not wash my hands. That's unsanitary. You guys didn't need to know that. But nonetheless, we're back here, showing that beautiful crunch machine of Dudley Smith. What a beautiful looking car. He's going to take over your top spot here for this restart. I believe we're going to go green this time by. If not next time by. We got a couple of drivers on the apron there. Not sure if that's for field pickup purposes or what that is. Maybe signifying that they're going to go down to pit road, as it looks like that's what the plan is here. So we should get one to go at the stripe here. As we see the 50, 51, and 25, and the 35. And everyone behind the 35. Want to make pit stops. That's 27 to Tristan Hagenstein in that Kmart machine. A little bit of a checkup.
Here are some people coming down pit road, top off, get just a extra bit of fuel with this aero package and everything. These cars do not get that great of fuel mileage. You'll maybe see a 20 lap run on a tank of fuel on these old cars.
As the smaller fuel cells in these cars for sure. 20 laps still not bad. That puts us at about, what, 5 pit stops? So
yeah, around 5. 4 if you can stretch it.
Drivers making their second pit stop of today, if they haven't been down for more. But lap 31, we're definitely within that 2 pit stop window, as we've seen no green flag pit stops yet in today's race, but that could change. You never know. These guys just calm down a little bit. It seems like a lot of the guys are starting to get jittery. Maybe usually now is the time in the race where we see a little bit of playing nice with each other and a little bit of vanilla racing. So watch for that on this restart. Watch for calamity. Who knows what's going to happen? You're just going to have to watch and find out what happens.
Yeah, I hope they calm it down here. We don't need any more stupid wrecks to happen, and people just need to give each other room, and we'll make it to at least 20 to go, and when people start to make the moves. But if people just calm down here, it'd be awesome. It'd be a good sight.
So coming down for the restart is the 86 of Timmy Pacioli with the 21, the 3, the 93, and the 15 rounding out. And we're back green here in Daytona. To the bottom immediately is the 93 of Josh Chin and the 15 of Keith Sherman. And slotting in behind the 86 is the 21 and the 3. 93 now behind the 3. Side by side is the 15 and the 51. As the field mostly separated, 2 by 2 back in the field, but in this main pack it's still formulating here. As hung out to dry at the moment is the 93 of Josh Chin, but wait for these guys to get up to speed. I'm sure the 93 won't have to worry about getting in line as he does on the bottom and in between the 3 and the 15. And now looking towards the outside, maybe going to stay in line. So leading lap 32 into 33 is the 86 of Timmy Pacioli.
Yep, with the in this retro series, they've decided to do the old retro starts, which is single file and lap cars on the inside. With this type of restart, it spreads out the field at the start, and it's really good for these types of races and these types of cars.
Yeah, single file restarts. Looks like it's helping keep the cautions down on the restarts, helping keep incidents from happening, as a lot can happen on these restarts. A lot of cars going every which way when they're starting single file or double file, excuse me. Single file restarts made it a little bit easier to get everything sorted out. And one man who has it sorted out is the 86 of Timmy Pacioli. Pacioli leading this long line of cars on the bottom line. Looks like we're going to get into a little bit of a single file run here, and I speak too soon as the 29 goes towards the outside of the 86 and the 21. We have a race for the race lead.
I think you cursed the single file there by speaking a little bit too soon. 29 is going to duck down low, see if he'll come back up. Yes, he does. Get that run off that 51 machine right there. Like we said earlier, the high line is the dominant line, but we've seen the low line work.
And the high line is the favored line right now. Look at how many cars we have up there. Bottom line separated. That's going to allow the 51 and the 29. Oh, they're going to sort it out just a little bit. But it looks like the 51 and the 2793 gang on the high side going to hold their own on the high line. Decimola making no attempt to go back down to the bottom line to try to block that bottom line, so I don't think he's too concerned about it right now, as we see the 29 make a little bit of ground with help from the 86 on the 51.
And yeah, as we can see towards back here, about 10th and 11th, see Chad Micus and Nick Baker work their way up here to this hectic pack that we're seeing right now. It doesn't look like they've learned their lesson as they're pushing 3 wide in the middle of 2 right now, coming off 2, and you think they would learn their lesson early, but it looks like it hasn't. As we see people making sudden moves and changing lanes, and
as we have the 84 in the middle. Yeah, just as you say that, we have the 84 stuck in the sucker hole in the middle, but he drops it back down to the bottom to safe ground. An 84 machine. Definitely hectic when you go 3 wide. These cars aren't the most stable. 1990 suspension on these cars. Excuse me, 1988. Around that era. So definitely the guys at Solstice try to make it drive like something might back in the day. And definitely one driver enjoying the way this drives is the 29 of Matthew Emerson. I said earlier he wants to stay up front. He's doing so by leading. Now that's the 62 of Kyle Riley. We haven't talked about him all day. He tries to make a move to the outside. Looks like not much is going to go for him, as he's going to drop a couple of positions. He's going to lose one, at least one, to the 51. The 51 comes up in front of him, so does the 21. Not sure if they're working together, but that was pretty synchronized. 86 thinking about going back up to the top, but now that low line is starting to fill in with Dudley Smith leading it. Let's see if they can get to the back bumper of the 29. It's the 29 and the 86 battling for the top spot as of now. 50 in the 21 in the second row, in the third row, the 15 and the 62. Now the 86 able to gain, get clear of the 29, not trying to drop down. Looks like he's going to work with the 21, 51, 62, and 27 group. And I believe Tristan Hagenstein is having a girl.
Well, it does say it's a girl in the back, so congratulations to him.
I'm not sure if he's the one carrying or not, but we'll have to ask him that sometime during this race.
I think that'll be the best post-race interview we've ever had.
Talking to a pregnant man, that would definitely be a first for us on HVMP. As the 29 making his way to the back of the pack, he's had enough. And I don't think he's going to stick to his guns like he said he was and try to lead. So back up front, it's going to be the 62 of Kyle Riley leading the bottom line with help from the 27. Now the 93 drops low in front of the 51. On the high side, it's going to be the 86, the 21, and the 25. Oh, look out for that. It's going to be the 25 and the 3 working together on the high side. Watch for them to make a move to the front.
Oh, most definitely. They're 2 satellite team cars, BER and H&H Racing.
As we have Dan upside down. Oh, and he's, well, tough break for that Dare machine. I know the guys are going to be upset for that one. Instead of starting parking, it's going to be Dan wounded on the inside. Not sure if did that bring out a caution.
No, it did not. Solstice does not have 1 car cautions, so only 1 car was in that wreck. So they'll continue to race green, and didn't involve anybody else.
Here's the replay of that. Here you see Dan tumbling end over end. And tough break for him. He's going to rest that machine next to Lake Lloyd.
Tough break for him, but as you can see in that replay, it's another case of net code with these cars. Just sad thing to see.
So out front, single file, maybe catching word that happened behind him. That's the 62, 27, 84, and 3 on the bottom line, and it looks like our 2 satellite teams, the 25 and the 3, have separated from each other. And speaking of separation, we see separation from this front pack. There's a second pack now in the works. So it looks like those are going to ride separately. It's last name Columbia, not familiar with the name, a newcomer in this series. Like I said, you can become one of those newcomers if you so wish by signing up at solsticeracing.net. And one of those guys we've kind of watched come from a newcomer status to veteran status now is the 62 of Kyle Riley. He was a big competitor in the NROC race here at Daytona. He actually won that event, and looking to do the same here in the Solstice Retro Series presented by Loctite.
Yep, he's definitely a strong competitor. He got himself one win last season in the Pro Line Series at Charlotte after a technicality had taken the win away from myself. Unfortunately for me, it took away a win and a chance to get in the All-Star race. But no, he's fast every race, and he can hot lap with the best of them. So it's he's definitely a strong contender here.
Yeah, and definitely one of the most improved, and it's always good to see him out front in a race. Trying really hard to get out front again. That's the 93 of Josh Chin. He's like, well, we can't really say that he's a fly on doo-doo as I spill my coffee. Just can't get rid of him. He's trying everything he can to stay up front, and it seems like him and Rada are the ones really trying to stay up front. 25 of Chad Michaels. You know, I talked to Chad. It's probably one of the most interesting people to talk to before a super speedway race, because Chad Michaels, no matter what, just, you know, he always finds himself at the front of these races. In the Busch Clash, he won his race, followed by me in the second position to make it into the main feature, that Busch Clash, and he just finds himself up front. And I asked him, you know, how do you do that? Is there anyone who you're trying to work with this race? Is there anyone that we're going to see you work your way towards the front with? And he said, no, I'm just going to kind of go with whatever happens. So Chad just kind of being, you know, just working with whoever as we see the 62 move towards the back of the pack. But yeah, Chad, I mean, look, he's found his way to the front, and really he's done it with almost everyone in the field.
Yeah, they don't call him Chad Talladega Micas for nothing. He's a great super speedway racer, and I've actually joined his team this season, and Pro Line Dash and Retro. Unfortunately, we couldn't get my car ready for tonight, but after working on it for so long, and after that Clash wreck, it just wasn't race competition ready yet. So. But no, Chad is he's an outstanding super speedway racer. He knows what he's doing, and he knows who to work with and who not to work with, and he knows how to get himself up front. As we can see here, Josh Chin has got right on his bumper and pushed him to the front. As we can see, pretty much a 5-car breakaway here from the rest of the pack.
You know, Lambert, I was really impressed with Chad's run in last season's Pro Line series. He, you know, found his way to victory lane quite a few times and was a big contender in the chase for the Pro Line Cup, and unfortunately did not win it like he would have hoped. That title going to Ryan Williams, as we saw him go a lap down earlier. Not sure if that's a little bit of strategy, maybe short pitting on the 28 machine, but definitely off the pace going a lap down.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. We'll have to see if we can't get him on a chat here. See pretty soon and see what happened to him.
And we just saw the 41 go from the outside, dodge a car in the middle, and go to the bottom line. That was an impressive move. I'm not sure if anyone else caught that, but now it's 3 wide for the lead. Chad Michaels up top. That's Tristan Hagenstein on the bottom, and in the middle, that's going to be the 93 of Josh Chin. Josh Chin up to block the outside line. Tristan holding steady on the bottom. Now it's just going to be the 93 and the 27. Double file here, coming around to try to lead this next lap. Steve Rada right on the back bumper of the 27, giving him a little bit better shove. That's going to allow Tristan to lead this lap. Here as we're just shy of halfway.
That was an interesting move there. Sometimes in these cars you just get too big of a run to slow down for the car in front of you, and you just move out of line and just take your run with you and hope you got somebody else behind you to push you. And there we saw an amazing move by the 93. He pushed it 3 wide coming out of 2, pushed Chad all the way to the high line, moved him out of the way and pushed his way all the way to the front with the help of that number 86 Tricks car of Patchouli there.
And now an amazing move by the 3 of Steve Rada, and now another amazing move by the 51 of Justin Melillo. Justin Melillo wants a piece of some, and he's going to shove the 3 of Steve Rada out, and he's going to lead this lap. So 3 lead changes being seen in just a short amount of time, and it's amazing how someone such as Chad Michaels can go from the lead to now 7th or 8th, barely fighting on that high side. His alliance in the 3 is kind of slowing him up a little bit on the high side.
I don't think he's slowing him up. He just doesn't have any help up there with that 3, so he's just going to stick behind him and try to make his way back up to the front and follow him behind somebody here. As him and the 3 both follow in line behind the 62 of Kyle Riley.
And now we're starting to see a little bit of single file action going on. Not a whole lot. Oh, as we see Justin Melillo get turned and he's upside down in front of the pack.
I think that's going to bring out a caution here. It may.
As
cars are slowing down. The caution is out.
Caution is out. For the 4th time here, we saw Justin Melillo go upside down in front of the field. I believe that was a single car accident, but due to the nature of that wreck, it was just too scary, and we had to. Solstice officials had to call it. Got a bad bump from the 93 through the tri-oval, and that sent him up in the air and back down on all 4 wheels and pretty softly into the outside wall. I think that's going to be repairable damage on the 51.
Yeah, we saw Chad Michaels just barely scrape by. He almost collected in that wreck with that 51. Maybe just a little right front fender damage. Hopefully they can pound that out and get that back up smooth and draftable. But no, these cars don't line up very well with these old body styles and round front ends and square rear ends and round rear ends and square front ends. They just don't line up, and you push somebody through the tri-oval, that's what happens.
And we saw a whole bunch of sky there from the back end of Justin Melillo's machine. Pretty helpless there when you're flying through the air. That's never good.
No, never something you want to see. Yeah, it looks like the entire field pitting this lap. Everybody coming down at 70 miles an hour. Very, very hectic coming down this pit road at that fast of a speed. Hopefully everybody can make it through here without any conflict.
There we almost saw contact between the 3 and the 51. As the 51 gets repairs done to his car. Race off pit road, that's going to be the 27 getting off in the number 1 position. And put Timmy Pacioli to 2nd. Chad Michaels, your 3rd car off pit road. 4th car, Matthew Emerson, and the 5th car on that race off pit road was the 21 of Jake Poulin. Other notable drivers is 61, 62, the 3 of Steve Rada, and the 15 of Keith Sherman. So,
and now we're at halfway. We've got half this race behind us, and we brought out our 3rd caution, or our 4th caution of the night.
That would be our 4th caution of the night, and with that, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back, folks.
Hi, I'm Levi LaValle, and I'm a professional snowmobile athlete. X Games is awesome. Every time you go there, you just go fully prepared, ready to do battle, and lay it all on the line. Crossing that finish line and giving that fist pump is like nothing else. I may be nuts, but I definitely don't have a screw loose with Loctite on my team.
Loctite, reliable performance, extreme.
Derek, Loctite's go-to glue works on almost any surface. You realize what this means for us?
I knew you'd be here. I knew you'd be here.
Loctite party!
Lewis.
No.
With Loctite in your fanny pack, you can help a lot. Loctite.
Back live at the Daytona International Speedway here. The Firecracker 400K for the Solstice Loctite Retro Series. A couple of funny commercials being played there from our friends and our partners at Loctite. The winner of this championship will receive a complete something like a mechanics pack or something from Loctite. So definitely a couple of goodies up for grabs, as Tristan Hagenstein looking to hold the lead here on this restart. Green flag in the air. He's going to try to hold that lead, maybe set himself in front to get that prize pack from Loctite. So definitely something exciting up for grabs in this series, along with it just being, you know, the Retro Series and being a really prestigious event. Well, a really prestigious series and something that we haven't run in a while. As Chad Michaels wants a little piece of that, wants a little piece of the lead. They're going to hang out Tristan Hagenstein to dry. That's going to be the 21 coming down and give him a little bit of a bump. So it's going to be the 25, 29, and the 27 and the 21 on the bottom. But to fill that top spot, it's going to be the 15 and the 3 of Keith Sherman and Steve Rada. So it's going to be 2 cars against 4. Highline prevailing. It's going to be Chad Michaels to lead your first lap green here.
Yep, under that pacing there, I was able to actually underneath that commercial break, I was actually able to chat to Chad and Emerson, and that BER alliance there. Even though Emerson's not a part of BER, they are two drivers that like to work together really well. And we got another caution here.
As trying to find what might have caused the wreck, not quite sure what the caution's for. So I don't see any smoke, I don't see anyone going around. Might have been for the 67 to Andrew Schwartz. We'll take a quick look at our tapes.
It was the 62 and the 50 there.
As there you see the wreck already in progress. Ooh, terrible head-on hit in the 62 machine. His day could be done after that one. Let's take another look at that replay. That was a pretty vicious wreck. And we saw...
It looks like the 62 was working with the 77 of Josh Stubbs there, and Stubbs had a pretty good run in the middle of the corner, so he dove down low, and Kyle Riley went with him. And when he did that, he got clipped by the 41 on Brian Mercutio there. I can't pronounce his last name to save my life.
Yeah, and that might have been a little bit of getting loose up on the top. Take another look at that replay, see if the contact between the 41 and the 62 actually happened. As yes, it did. I believe the 62 just got loose up on the high side. Like we said earlier in the broadcast, that high side, pretty slippery. Not a lot of grip up there, same as the bottom. This track definitely dominated by the middle groove. But Kyle Riley's day is going to be done. We're back live now. A little bit of an issue with the 79 of Brandon LaRoe. He's going to get it going. But nonetheless, Kyle Riley's day is done. So, tough break for him.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for him. He was definitely a big contender in this race, and I'd hate to see him out so early. But, yeah, like you said, he was like that high line was just a little loose for him, but also in front of him, the 35 and another car were also in that outside wall, which slowed them down, which gave the 77 of Stubbs and 62 Riley such a big run there. And when he made that hard left turn, the car just got loose out from underneath him, and he clipped the 41, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, big miscommunication, a lot of calamity in turns 1 and 2. Not getting sorted out how the drivers wanted to, especially the 62 of Kyle Riley. He'll be watching from the sidelines for the rest of this race. As we're starting to get single file here, a little tighter under pacing. I believe we're going to get the 1 to go this time by. Again, it's hard to tell in these races just by the nature of cautions here at Solstice. Solstice electing to not run in-game cautions and electing to do their own caution system, which seems to work out most of the time. Doesn't quite sort out all the time on the broadcast booth here.
No, it doesn't work for broadcasting, but it definitely works for in the racing. Here at Solstice, they have their own kind of self-ran caution rule, and they what you'll see if you're racing here is you'll see somebody, one of the admins or race officials will post cautions out in the chat, and you'll see that across the top of your screen while you're racing. But no, it helps out a lot during the race, because sometimes there's just that one car that spins out and the game will throw a caution when a caution is really not needed. And it sucks for that one guy that got wrecked, but a lot of the times, especially at short tracks or like a road course or something where a car can spin out by themselves and bring in a caution in the game, it really helps out in the race itself.
Now, we saw an instance like that with the 14 car of Dan McKay. Unfortunate for him, didn't bring out a caution, but this one did, and we're going to go back green here right now. 27 of Tristan Hagenstein getting a great jump.
We see that 93 in the back. He got a great jump on that restart. I don't know, he just anticipated it. Good Lord, he moved up at least 4 positions there on that start, and he's made his way to the 4th position now. And wow, that was amazing by him.
There you see an incredible move being made by the 93 of Josh Chin. That's going to put him in position to take over the 3rd spot from the 27 of Tristan Hagenstein. Something formulating here with the 15 and the 3. That's no longer happening there, but looks like they're going to work together again. So long as the 86 and the 27 don't get a piece of them. So up to the high side, that's going to be the 15-3 behind the 25, 29, and 93. Again, you're probably your 3 favorites to win today's race, running 1, 2, 3 right now. So we see Keith Sherman trying to make something happen on the bottom. He gets a great jump, but maybe a little bit too good of a jump in front of the 27 of Tristan Hagenstein and the 86. But nonetheless, he's going to keep his momentum up. He's going to try to challenge for the top spot with the 25 of Chad Mikos. But it looks like he's not going to be able to get enough done down the back straightaway as they head into corner number 3.
You see the 15 drop down to the bottom and try to make his way to the front. And Keith Sherman's not a guy you'll talk about a lot until you come to super speedways. He's kind of like the Ryan Newman or Michael Waltrip of Solstice. He runs about mid-pack in most races, but when it comes to super speedways, he will make his way to the front somehow. And he's always kind of like a dark horse, not a dark whore. He's a dark horse at Solstice Super Speedway races, and I don't know if he's ever got himself a Super Speedway win, but I know he's came close many times. I remember back at CRI, the old CRI league, when me and him were on a team along with Brian Wallace of Lambert Wallace Racing and trucks. I did push him to his first Super Speedway win in a truck, so. No, he's a good Super Speedway driver, and it's good to see him running up front here as he gets a little help from Josh Chin and number 93 machine.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely one of the nicest people you'll meet over at Solstice Racing. Keith Sherman in the 15 Winn-Dixie car, just leaving his job at Winn-Dixie to head up to South Carolina. Congratulations on him. Congratulations to his family for making that move all the way up there. I know it was a little bit of a rough trip up there for them, but Keith Sherman trying to get settled in here at this new place. His first race back in a while. I believe he had to miss the last couple of races in the IndyCar season in the Proline series in order to make that move. So definitely said he's trying to situate in his new house. I talked to him today. Couldn't join us up in the broadcast booth. Always good company up in the broadcast booth is Keith Sherman. But good company on the racetrack, too, as we see him give a lot of room to that warping car. That's something that Keith Sherman does a lot. He gives a lot of room to his fellow competitors, and always a fun person to work with as we see him try to work with the 93 of Josh Chin.
We got a car in the lake here. It's number 22, Mark Sabeka. I don't know if something broke on his car or what, but he just, out of turn number 2, he just dove it off to the left and hit that embankment and went to the lake, and his car has disappeared now.
That was the warping car that we saw. Here's an instant replay of that. Definitely some electrical issues, some connection issues going on with the 22, and I believe that's all she wrote. And doing a little bit of pirouetting into Lake Lloyd, and fortunately getting out of the car in time and not drowning. But his day is done for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We get back to the front here. Looks like Chad Micas and Matt Emerson and Josh Chen all decided to work together, and as I say that, Josh Chen dives to the outside.
Josh Chen to the outside of the 29 and the 25. That's Chad Micas in the lead. Josh Chen trying to make something of it, trying to challenge the 25 machine, try to take his crown, try to take his lead away. Not sure, I believe there's bonus points awarded for the most laps led, so these guys fighting for something. It's just not a bunch of useless going back and forth. There's bonus points awarded, and every point counts in these races, especially with this point system.
Oh, most definitely. It's very hard to lead laps, and especially at a super speedway. You just got to find the right partner and just work with them, and get your way up to the front and just try to stay there, which is really, really hard to do, as we saw right there. As the number 25 of Chad Micas just got left to dry by the number 93.
And he is going to be able to reclaim his spot up at the top, try to get a foothold to try to propel himself back up to the front, but Josh Chen hanging him out to dry, so Chad Micas is back to third as we see the 93 and the 51. I believe those two are working with each other. If not, definitely a lot of experience between the two. Justin Malolo with like 18 championships or something like that. Josh Chen with a handful for sure. I believe it's around 6. I know he's a past champion of this series. Again, no repeat champions in this series. But Josh Chen definitely showing the others how to get it done, and he's leading here on lap 66 of 100. Just past the 2/3 mark here at Daytona.
Most definitely. Well, Justin Molino is he's a very competitive racer. I know we had our scuffle at Charlotte, where I accidentally put in the outside wall with less than 2 to go at Charlotte. But we had our spat. But after everything was said and done the next day, me and him both apologized to each other. But he's definitely a very good competitor, and he's definitely a hard racer, and he's showing his strength tonight here.
And he's showing his strength tonight. And probably one of the most impressive things on the 51 machine is we saw him go perpendicular to the track and blow over. And here he is. He's found his way back up into the second position. That's very impressive. He's showing his talent and showing he knows how to get it done. As the 93 goes up to block the 27. 27 was there, almost a mishap there on the back straightaway. I'm not sure if that was a miscommunication by the spotter or if Josh Chen trying to send a message to the 27, but not a very nice move being made. Not a very nice gesture towards the 93. I don't think the 93 was inviting the 27 over for dinner or anything like that.
No, I think you're absolutely right. That was a little bit of a, to be honest, a little bit of a stupid move there by Josh Chen, but luckily it worked out. But I don't know why we're trying to block this early with only 2/3 of the race completed. There's still another 30 handful of laps left here.
And we just saw the 25 and the 61 throw a block on the 27 again. 27 just being pushed around, but no time for the 61 and the 25. It's a go time for them. They're trying to get their way back up to the front of the field. And they're doing just that. Jeffrey Stanton out front. Looks like he's going to lead lap 69. Yes, he does. With Josh Chen on the bottom trying to hold his own. But low line's starting to die. High line place to be at right now.
Actually, that was just a heck of a move there by the two teammates of Jeffrey Stanton and Chad Micas. Stanton is he's a very competitive racer. He's actually racing with a broken leg tonight, which is astonishing. He's been running with a broken leg a good handful of races, which is astonishing. And as we see here, he's leading the Firecracker 400 in the Solstice Loctite Retro Series.
Yeah, Jeffrey Stanton, definitely one of the more popular drivers. Getting injured a couple, I believe that was last month in his legend car in real life. Jeffrey Stanton, the guy behind Jeffrey's toy closet, a little bit of, you know, whenever you have a leg injury such as Jeffrey is, you know, most of the time you just want to sit around. But Jeffrey, he's a fighter. He's fought through adversity all through his life and fighting through a little bit of adversity today with his injured leg. But that's no matter to him as he's setting pace out front.
And as you can see, they dropped to the low line here in front of Josh Chen when leaves Hagenstein and Pacioli out to drive by themselves with a little help from the 67. But I don't know if the spotters have talked to each other between the 27 and the 86 here, but their bumpers have been touching a lot, especially here in the middle of the race. They are definitely helping each other out.
Yeah, I know Tristan for sure. Sometimes he just likes to ride. Sometimes he wants to get to the front in that Ford, and looks like he might be doing so with the 86. As that's not going to happen, it's going to be the 93 and the 51 to the outside to try to make their way around the 61 and the 25. They can't do it, though, going into turn number 3 and 4. 61 on the bottom, 93 on the high side. 93 going to try to get the run off of turn 4 to propel himself in front of the 61. Can he do it? Coming down to the line.
We got a caution. We have another caution here.
Caution is out for, I believe, the 6th time here on lap 72. Gonna have to search for the cause of the caution. As we've got a couple of slow cars in the back. I'm trying to see if we can't figure out what exactly went wrong, as I'm not seeing much. Still searching for that caution.
Okay, looks like it's back towards the pack. It's got Doug Nice, Nick Baker, and Paul Foddy, and the 85 machine of Conti. Looks like there's a little bit of contact between the 40 and the 8. Sent the 40 into the inside wall very hard and sideways.
As I think we see our... Oh, no, actually, there was contact between the 8 and the 40 side by side. I thought that might have been a little bit of netcode there, Brandon, but not the case. That was just a little bit of a communication. I don't think the 8's... I think the 8th spotter might have cleared him, and he just didn't know Doug was there, I believe, and got down into the 40. And unfortunately, 40 made hard contact in the inside wall. Get you another angle of that. But definitely not how you want to end up going towards the pits, as there was just contact between the two.
Yeah, I'm taking a look to see what happened here. Yeah, it was like the 8 just came down just a tad bit and caused the 40 to go into that inside wall. It's unfortunate for both those drivers, even though they were far off the pack for some reason.
And 40 having to call a tow truck. Unfortunately got stuck in the mud and in the grass. Maybe he got frozen in there. We were saying the temperatures are a little bit chilly. But there you see him getting service done to the 40 machine. Quite possibly, if not, just chilling in his pit stall for right now. Matt Conti in the 85. And drivers making another round of scheduled pit stops. Your winner on the race off pit road is the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton. He's going to fall in behind whoever this is up here. That's the 79 of Brandon LaRoe, electing to get a couple of bonus points on staying out. So
yeah, we'll probably see him pit this time and get some fuel and get some new tires. But yeah, probably just staying out just to get an extra bonus point there.
And again, we're coming close to the closing stages of this race. Brandon, what do you expect to see on this restart, knowing that the drivers have just a little bit of time left to get to the front?
Looks like when we go back green, we're going to have about 25 laps left. Looks like I expect somebody towards the back of the field to kind of over anticipate the restart and try to get as best restart as they possibly can here. And Solstice, it is allowed to jump down below and pass people before the start-finish line, which you don't see in real NASCAR, and you didn't see back in the day. You had to stay single file until you got past the start-finish line. But no, we're gonna see probably gonna see a few people here try to jump the restart just as much as they possibly can, and then it's going to be a brawl to the end. This is probably not the last caution we're going to have, and we'll probably at least have 2 or 3 more.
So there we saw the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton and the 79 of Brandon LaRoe duck it into the pit lane to get service on their machines. Jeffrey Stanton was showing some strength up front. I'm going to drop to the back. It'll be interesting to see if he can find his way back up through the field. But the man who did find his way back up through the field was the 51 of Justin Molo, and he's your leader.
Yep, he's been up front all night, and he's definitely somebody I'd put money on to win this race. But if you had to put your money on anybody, who would it be tonight?
I'm definitely liking what the 51 of Justin Molo is doing. And it looks like I've got a couple of other choices. I know Chad Micahs is one of those who he'll find his way up to the front sometime. But like I said, I think it was probably about 3 or 4 cars that were showing strength all the way throughout the race up until this point that are no longer in the top 5. Tristan Hagenstein, watch out for him, but I believe it might be down between the 51, the 93. 25. Put the 3 of Steve Rada in there. There's a lot of good drivers here as we get ready for our restart. Here in the Firecracker 400K, Justin Molo brings them on down at a slow 80 miles an hour. And he's going to drop the hammer. Green flag back in the air. Down to the bottom side is the 15 of Keith Sherman.
We got contact between the 25 and the 93.
25 and the 93 not playing nice. That's going to bring out caution, I believe.
Yes, that is our 8th caution of the night.
Alrighty, so a little bit of contact, a little bit of miscommunication back in the pack between our 2 veterans. Let's see if we can't see what brought out the caution here. Looking at the 93. Oh, it looks like the 93 was expecting to squeeze it up high on the 39 there, and just not enough room there. Made contact with the 39 and then bounced back in front of the 25. So Josh Chin may be making a little bit of a rookie mistake there, looking for room on the outside where there wasn't much real estate up for sale.
Yeah, as I'm hearing over admin chat, Chad Micahs and Josh Chin having a little bit of a conversation. Josh not looking to take the blame for that one. He's putting the blame on that number 39 machine, which is kind of childish because it's not what happened. The 93 just, he tried to make a move and the hole wasn't there and kind of paid the price for it, and unfortunately collected Chad Micahs in there with him.
So a bit of a miscommunication. Let's check the position of the 39. 38 of Columbia. Looks like he's going to hold his own, pacing in the 9th position right now. And, someone we haven't seen for a while. Could be a little bit of strategy, could be, damage, something else. This is 28 of Ryan Williams. Bringing up the rear, he's 15th. I believe he's being scored on the lead lap. Yes, he is, as we see the 21 and the 29 and the 61 come off of pit road. So watch for Ryan Williams to make his move too. He's always one of the ones who knows when to get up front, when it counts, and let's keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, that's somebody we haven't talked a whole lot about today, and I spoke about it earlier. Ryan's one of those guys who's going to ride in the back until the end of the race and going to work his way up to the front. He's known for doing this many, many times, and looks like it's playing out for him again.
Yeah, Ryan Williams, definitely, he loves to play it safe. He's almost got the Jimmy Johnson strategy when it comes to super speedways. It doesn't work a lot of the time, but a lot of the time, being around in the back of the pack, away from Calamity, is the way to go. But the guy not wanting to stay out of Calamity, wanting to race for the race lead, that's the 51. You see him right dead in center. He's going to bring him on down here for the restart in this Firecracker 400K. Lap 76 of 101. Lap 77 on the restart.
Let's see if they can get this restart going this time.
And the countdown to the end of this race begins right now. So we see the 51 off to a great start. That's going to be the 15 trying to make something happen on the high side. 3 wide, now 2 wide. This is the 15 and the 86. 86 trying to make up ground on the bottom. 86 thinking he's going to go low on the 27. 27 now down to block once he's clear. And low line starting to form early. Keith Sherman out to dry on the how, as we see huge warp there on the 86. My God. You know, lucky that didn't turn into anything. Oh, and he's warping in the middle of the field. He's got to get out of there. He might calm down, but man, drivers really not reacting to that. They don't really care that the 86 is warping. They just want to the front. As we see the 50 Dudley Smith, the 29 of Emerson, and the 77 of Stubbs. Chad from the high side to the low side at the back of your screen. As we'll get the right graphic going.
That's a little bit of a scary sight coming from that 86. As we see the 86 go up high along with the 27, Tristan Hagenstein. As I was saying earlier in tonight's race, they've been working together all night long, and they're still working together now. But going back to their restart, it looks like the 86 slowed up just enough to allow the 27 to drop right in front of them, and little communication there, just try to get them two working together again. As it works out again, as 27 leads lap 79 there.
And watch for those 2 lines, 3 lines in the back, pinching each other. We saw a tight situation coming off of 4. That was with the 77, the 25, 15, all those guys back in the pack. It's still unsorted a little bit farther back, around towards the 28 of Ryan Williams and company. There we see the 8 of Paul Foddy going high and low. Now it's finally starting to sort itself out as the high line's starting to die and the bottom line's starting to suck up in the back of the pack. But definitely a scary situation in the back of the pack. Out front, though, things are pretty vanilla. There's single file, 27 in the lead, followed by the 86 Timmy Pacioli and the 41 of Brian Mercurio. If I'm not mistaken, those 3, they could be working with each other. Be interesting to see who can disrupt that. I know the 51 and the 93 are close. Those 2 were a great partnership earlier. We'll see. 29 was... Oh, 25. Chad Mikos gets way, way loose. He's in the grass. He's going to try to bring it back up. Oh, as he goes over a couple of... he's catching air. Like no one's business in the 25. His back end's all beat up, though. Chad for a little bit of rallying, a little bit of Dukes of Hazzard in the infield.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there to Chad, but he went down on the infield, and there's a little bit of elevation change right there at that road course chicane, and he went for a little bit of a ride there. Hope that didn't damage at the bottom of his car too much.
Nonetheless, Chad doing a great job of saving it. As things... Oh, this top 5 is starting to make me nervous. Watching them, that's the 27, 86, and 41 all out front. I believe those 3 are working together. And then we see the 51, the 3, and the 29. I don't think their plans are to work with each other. As we see the 29 go to the high and the low side, back to the high side, trying to signal the drivers behind him, hey, let's get something going on the high side. Matthew Emerson not one to be patient, riding single file on the bottom line. Keith Sherman always willing to make that second groove. He goes for it, but the 29 does not. That's going to allow the 77 to slot in behind.
Yeah, we're starting to see a few people make their move. The 51 getting a little squirrely there. It's under 20 laps to go. It's go time now. I'm actually surprised seeing this single file line down here at the bottom. I don't know what some of these people are thinking here.
But you can tell, even though they are single file, this intensity level is up. They're trying really urgently to get up to the front. I mean, we're watching all these guys on the bottom just lay onto each other. They're not wanting to give up an inch. As we see a little bit of separation now, but I'm sure that will tighten back up if we don't see anyone go to the high side. High side trying to form there. That's Keith Sherman and the 93. We see the 61 go up to join them. And now the 15 going back down. Our top 10 cars continue to be single file. It looks about to be the top 12 all the way back to the 15 of Keith Sherman. Keith Sherman being shown in your 9th position. Ryan Williams making a move on the bottom side. Trying to work his way up to the front of the field. But out front, it's Tristan Hagenstein leading yet another lap here on lap 84.
Yeah, we're single file, and this is not making any sense. We usually see these boys start to make their move. You see Ryan Williams and Josh Shin try to make their way up to the high line, along with Jeffrey Stanton. About 7th or 8th position back there. Maybe they can get this line of cars going as the 84 pulls up in front and gets another car in that line of cars up there. See if they can make their move and do anything up there.
Yeah, 84 trying to be the pioneer of the high side. Now he ditches almost everything, goes back up, excuse me, as 84, this 84 61, 28, 93, gaggle starting to make me nervous. Same with Josh Chin. Josh Chin saying, I got to get out of here, going to the bottom line, get a little bit of breathing room as it's really hectic up top. But 4 cars, now 5, trying to make something happen on the high side, try to break up this bottom groove, and if they might be able to make up quite a few spots as we see the 93 now go to the high side. 29 trying to do the same. Not able to do it, though.
Yeah, and the 93 has a second rod in the back here. He's trying to get his way back up to the front, and it's like he's trying to bring a line of cars with him. Emerson doesn't know what he wants to do right now. He's going high, he's going low, he's tucking back in, sneaking back out, and he tucks right back in again.
I think Emerson trying not to lose any position whatsoever, but he might lose a couple now to that outside groove. That outside groove starting to gain momentum, and whenever that happens, you know, watch out, because pretty, I mean, once you get enough cars in the high side, there we see Emerson go. He's trying to use up the entire racetrack there. Definitely interesting maneuvers being done by the 29. That could be slowing the high line just a bit, as we see the high side just start to lose momentum now, but starting to reform, starting to break apart. Oh, these guys keep racing like this, there could be another wreck.
Yeah, look to see another one here pretty soon. We're getting close to under 10 laps to go. The 93 is trying to make that high line work, and he's got to help from the little cars behind him, but nobody out in front of him wants to jump up in that high line, which is really surprising.
And if you watch, Brendan, that 86 car is starting to warp again. That could break the low line's momentum. With the 29 and the 77 trying to figure out if they're going to go high or low. Still, this high side stalled out for the moment. Right about the 5th or 6th position. Now we start to go 3 wide. Don't go 3 wide, please. You guys are trying to settle everything out, and it looks like that high line is actually going to die. Life keeps coming back to that high side. Every time it looks like it's going to die, it gets refreshed by dipping down into that bottom line and getting a little bit of a run. Draft a huge part of what the high line's trying to do, and now it looks like they're going to get equal lanes going. It looks like there's quite a few people electing to go up top. 29's stuck now. He's committed to the high side. We'll see maybe if that high side can go with a new leader.
Yeah, and as we see the 51 and the 41 come up to try to block that high line, or just get a little bit of extra air off that moving line up there, Emerson is finally starting to make that high line work with the help of Josh Chin and Jeffrey Stanton and the 84 Fisher. Hopefully they can get all the way up to the front and actually make this a race instead of this being a low line fest here.
And we see Matthew Emerson on the outside getting the back bumper of the 3rd place car, the 41 of Brian Mercurio. Is this low line going to try to go and do something to block this high side. Looks like high side stalls out for just a little bit. Josh Chin, Matthew Emerson, both veterans in this series. Veterans to Solstice and all the series related to it, trying to make something happen up top. But we're seeing a lot of movement from the cars up top. That could be hurting them.
Yeah, it could be, but they're making it work. And the 29 they're getting a good run off of turn 4, and it kind of dies in the middle of the corner.
And we've got the lap car, the 25 of Chad Michaels. Field's going to have to go high up around him. Oh, that's going to pinch the high side just for a moment there. Chad trying to get settled back in line. I think he's got a car fast enough as we see the 86 try to go to the outside. He's not clear. He's almost not clear when he comes back down. And that's going to be the 29 coming back up. I think that just ruined the low line's momentum. So coming off of 4, trying to get a little bit of run from the high side. That's going to be the 29 of Matthew Emerson. Can Matthew Emerson make something happen? Not this lap, but he's there. He's side by side with the 27. Well, looks like the 29's going to edge out the 27 just a little bit going into turn 1 and 2. Hello, high line. Goodbye, low line.
Yeah, we were hoping this would happen, and this is what we got. So this is going to be some good racing here at the end. We're going to see a few cars duck down and duck high and move all around. We're going to see 3-wide racing here in this last 10 laps. This is about to get really intense as everybody is staying right on each other's rear bumper.
Lap 91 of 100. Not 1, I promise. 100. In the books here now, coming around at lap 92. That's Matthew Emerson, your leader. He said he's going to want to try to find some way to get it up front. And we saw him up front early, and now we're seeing him in the closing stages of this race back up front. So Matthew Emerson in the 29 being trailed by the 93 of Josh Chin and the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton. A pretty veteran high line here against the, not sure if I want to say lesser experienced bottom line, but, I mean, definitely a lot of big names up in the high side as we see the 28 of Ryan Williams go low. Now the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton.
The high line has almost died off all the way back to that 38 machine. It looks like the 27, he's going to jump up high and try to get that high line back running and charging. But as you see, the two teammates of Ryan Williams and Josh Stubbs move down to the bottom. They're going to try to win this race, and Stanton is like, I'm going to join these two guys because they know what they're doing.
To the high side and the low side, pretty much equal right now. That's the 61 and the 28 against the 29 and the 93. Can the high side battle back? It lost a little bit of momentum. It looks like it's holding its own right now, barely edging out the bottom line on the back straightaway. Now towards the close side of the back straightaway, the 61 with a slight advantage on the bottom. 29 up top, starting to stall out.
At least every 100 feet, it looks like. This is great side-by-side racing. No line is really prevailing. It looks like the low line has got it right here, going to finish lap number 93 and going to lap number 94.
That big rubber band effect from the high side to the low side. It seems one line starts to get an advantage on the other, and then in the next corner it completely flip-flops. Now we see the bottom line starting to work its magic as we close into the late stages of the race. 6 laps to go, lap 94 of 100. And big push down the back straightaway from the 28 of Ryan Williams. Same on the high side. Josh Chin doing everything he can to try to keep that 29 up close, because if he can keep the 29 up there, and that's the 93 shot as we see the 28 go towards the outside. 61 to block back down to the bottom.
As you see, Ryan Williams, he scraped the wall trying to make that move work, and unfortunately he scraped the wall and killed his momentum just a little bit there, and was allowed the 61 to block there. This might allow the high line to get another good charge here coming out of turn 2, and Matt Emerson trying to get back to that front with the help of number 93 of Josh Chin.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan Williams and the 61 were looking to change lanes there, and then thought better of it. Ryan is starting to get impatient with the 61. He wants around, but he can't do anything right now unless he forces a hole. He's got the 29 to his outside. Now he's not quite got him to the outside. Same thing as last lap, but no crazy moves being done. Ryan trying to stay in between of the two lines and trying to not worry about what's behind him and just focus his sights on the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton, as it's 5 laps to go here in Daytona, and anything could happen in these next 5 laps. Who knows who's going to win?
Looks like the 28 of Ryan Williams going to try to sneak to the outside of the 61. He's going to be side by side going down the backstretch, but he has no help from his teammate of Josh Stubbs, who decides to stay low. It looks like Emerson's going to put Ryan in the sucker hole, but no. Josh Chin goes with Ryan Williams down in the middle lane and leaves Emerson out to dry.
And Emerson finding his way towards the back. Can he get slotted in? Oh, no, he can't. It looks like he's going to lose a couple more positions here as Ryan Williams leads the outside line. Outside groove has died now. So Ryan making that jump from second, now all the way back into the fourth or fifth position, excuse me, and losing a little bit more ground as we have 4 laps to go here. We got a lap traffic coming. We'll have to see how this front pack can get around him.
And who's loving seeing this is the number 61 of Jeffrey Stanton. He seeing all those cars switch lanes and move back and forth, which is slowing their momentum down, and it allowed him to keep the lead at all that mess. And he's starting to pull just a little bit too far away from that number 77. And if he gets a run, can make a pretty good run to get that lead away from him. So he's got to watch that. He's got to watch the difference between his car and that second place car, because the draft effect can really take advantage of that.
So a little bit of wrangling around that lap car, and the number 9 to Nick Baker does the high side. High side, sayonara to them. It's 3 cars up top against pretty much everyone else on the bottom side. Jeffrey Stanton still up front with Josh Stubbs behind him. That's the 86 of Timmy Pacioli. He's holding his own in the 3rd position, where he's been at pretty much this entire run. 41 of Brian Mercurio and the 51 of Justin Malillo. Hungry back behind them. 2 laps to go here in Daytona.
Rada's trying to find his way up. He moved to the outside to get a little help draft from that 28 of Ryan Williams, but decided the better of it and swooped right back down the low line in behind that 51 as he got Fisher pushing Rada right now. And I don't know if they're going to try to go to the outside and make anything happen, but right now it's just everybody on the low line.
Another lap car, that's the 85 of Matt Conti. We're coming around just a couple more feet to the white flag here in Daytona. 61 of Jeffrey Stanton out front. That's the 77 of Josh Stubbs behind him, and the rest of the hungry pack behind him. Now we see the rest of the pack go low. White flag in the air here in Daytona. Final lap. Only 2.5 miles to go. We see the bottom line starting to snake. High line trying to form. No one has anything for him yet. 77 to the outside. 86 back down to the bottom. That's going to put the 77 up towards the wall. They're coming back down the back straightaway. It's the 61 in the lead. 86 pulls out to try to make a run. It's going to be the 41 going with him. Justin Malillo to the high side. 2 cars against the rest of the pack on the bottom. Jeffrey Stanton, Timmy Pacioli, drag racing their way through 3 and 4. Coming out, trouble, we got Steve Rada around. But at the line, it's going to be the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton, followed by the 86 and the 41.
Wait a minute, we still got a lap left.
Oh, do we? So,
yes, we do.
Final lap, apparently scheduled distance being 101 laps, not 100 laps like we were promised. But nonetheless, white flag in the air here. That's the 41 of Brian Mercurio on the inside. The 86 of Timmy Pacioli on the outside. Jeffrey Stanton, your leader. That's the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton on the inside. Coming in at turns 3 and 4. 61 on the bottom line, trying desperately to hold on. 86 versus 61. Now we're going to see the 51 of Justin Malillo try to push Jeffrey Stanton. Same with the outside. 61 goes. They're beating and banging. At the line, it's going to be the 86 of Timmy Pacioli getting your win. And we have a huge crash.
Carnage at the start-finish line. We got tons of cars spinning around upside down.
So this one is in the books. It's going to be the 86 winning today's race. And we saw him do it in just the last couple of feet. Timmy Pacioli in that tricks machine. Definitely a happy man. Getting a little bit of a congratulations from the 41. And we'll go and we'll get you that run down to the finish. It was pretty exciting as we saw a lead change in the last couple of feet for the win.
Sorry about the miscommunication there on the laps, but it turned out to be a hell of a finish there at the end.
And it looks like the 51 dropped low. That might have hurt the 61's momentum. 41 was on the 86. 61 trying to push him up into the wall. And just not enough being done by the 61 to defend that top spot. And in the last couple of feet, you see the 86 getting it done, bringing home the hardware.
That was a heck of a last etch move there by the 86 to get on the outside and get some help from the 41 there. Just amazing racing there, and I cannot believe the finish. That was the greatest finish that I've ever seen.
So here comes the 86 down on the front straightaway into the tri-oval. At the start-finish line, he's going to do a couple of burnouts, signifying to the fans and you at home, and he's won today's race, and he's pretty darn happy.
Most definitely. He just beat him by, looks like half a fender to the line over the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton, which is heartbreaking for Stanton because he led right there towards the end, and we thought he had the win, but we had one more lap to go, so that's just impressive.
Yeah, really an impressive run. Strong run by the 86 with a little bit of help from behind from the 41 of Brian Mercurio. And we'll get interviews from them in just a moment. And there we see the man, Timmy Pacioli, doing a couple of burnouts there, making his way back towards his pit stall.
That's one happy Tricks Pontiac driver right there. That was an awesome race, awesome move to get himself in position to get that win right there. He's got to thank number 41 Mercutio there to get him that win.
And the 86 doing everything he could to fight those last couple of laps to get that win. So as his celebrations conclude, let's try to get the man himself, if we can find him. And Timmy Pacioli making that move in the last couple hundred of feet there. Timmy, what did it for you? What kept you in the hunt there in the last couple of feet?
Big push from the outside. My buddy Brian, we had a plan. We made that plan with like 15 laps to go over our Whisper, and the plan was he would stick with me, and we'd see how we would do. And it worked out really well. Jeffrey really squeezed me into the wall, but it kept going through. He raced me clean, and it was a good finish, and I'm happy I finally got a Solstice points-paying win. Feels good.
Now, Timmy, your first win at Solstice here, that pays points and dividends. We saw you up front most of the day. Was that part of your strategy, just to try to stay out of trouble, or were you trying to see something, see if you had enough at the end?
I stayed in the front because in past Super Speedway races, I've tried that strategy where I stay in the back and wait to go to the front. And most races, I don't even get to the front. So recently, I've decided just to stay in the front because very seldom accidents happen in the first 5 or 10 cars. They usually happen deeper in the field, so it keeps you out of trouble, and you're in the front, so you're there at the end anyway.
And we saw that 86 machine stay clean. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
I want to thank my internet for holding up even though it's really bad. I want to thank my electricity for staying on, and I want to thank Brian and Tristan and all those who helped me to get this win. And yeah.
Alrighty, well, thank you for your time, Timmy.
Thank you.
Let's see if we can't pull down your Jeffrey Stanton here.
Buddy was moved out of your channel. Buddy was moved to your channel.
Jeffrey Stanton, this is Dylan Livegood. Tough way to lose it in the last couple hundred of feet. Is there anything you could have done to stay up front?
I don't think so. I just needed a push. But thank you, Justin, again for pushing me there on the last little bit there.
Now, we saw you up towards the front, and in the back we saw you pit and go back in the pack a little bit. What was, was it hard getting through the field with the draft?
It was a little bit hard, but I just had to pick them off one by one.
And racing with that broken leg, definitely overcoming some adversity there. Congratulations. Nice to see you in the second spot. Jeffrey, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
I want to thank everyone that supports me in my real life racing career and everyone that helps me out with my charity.
And that charity is Jeffrey's Toy Closet. We were talking about that earlier in the broadcast. Good man, Jeffrey Stanton. Congratulations on your second place finish.
Thank you.
Buddy was moved out of your channel.
And let's see if we can get one last interview here. I believe everyone's gone who I was looking to interview. So, Lambert, we saw a really exciting race, really exciting finish. Good things to come, I see, in the Retro Series. And, you know, hopefully we can keep this momentum up all year. Definitely high intensity, definitely a lot of energy in this race.
Oh, most definitely. It was one of the greatest finishes ever seen in this Retro Series, and it was a heck of a way to put that one in the books, for sure. Yeah, I'm hoping this momentum continues through this Retro Series, and hope to be able to get my car out there and be a part of the action a little bit this season as much as I can. But no, it was a great race and a heck of a way to end it. And I'm looking forward to more races in this series along the season. It looks like it's going to be a really, really fun season.
And I can't put it much better. That's going to be live on HVMP throughout the season. So make sure to subscribe, like, favorite, everything. Don't forget about us, as we're going to bring you coverage of the Retro Series for the rest of the season. And again, the Retro Series is an exciting thing for everyone here at Solstice, and exciting for us in the booth. It really means a lot to the guys here at Solstice. It's a tradition. We haven't done it since 2010, and a lot of these drivers excited to see what they got this time around. So for everyone here at HVMP, it was a great race. Glad you guys could watch it. Glad we could share that with you, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, guys.
With Loctite in your fanny pack, you can help a lot. Loctite.
Nothing will ever sound the same without a Turtle Beach headset. Hear everything. Defeat everyone.
Hi, I'm Levi LaValle, and I'm a professional snowmobile athlete. X Games is awesome. Every time you go there, you just go fully prepared, ready to do battle and lay it all on the line. Crossing that finish line and giving that fist pump is like nothing else. I may be nuts, but I definitely don't have a screw loose with Loctite on my team.
Loctite, reliable performance, extreme results.
Derek, Loctite's go-to glue works on almost any surface. You realize what this means for us?
I knew you'd be here. I knew my dear.
Loctite party!
Lewis.
No.
With Loctite in your fanny pack, you can help a lot. Loctite.